be fine. We're expecting some winds. Mostly, I think it might be a rain event here. Like I said, we're going to be nothing like Louisiana. If y'all would, please send out your thoughts and prayers for Louisiana. They're the ones that's going to be taking the brunt of this.
In Houma, Louisiana, this roof ripped off, slamming into utility poles, taking it down. Tonight, nearly 500,000 customers without power in that state. And that number is, of course, expected to grow now.
We were in the middle of building our big barn when Hurricane Ida hit. Mimi is originally from South Louisiana, still had family and friends in the impacted area. She felt a calling. That calling led her to come to me and say that we should use our funds that we had set aside for our barn and for building a new front porch for our new home, that we should use those funds and help those that so desperately needed it in South Louisiana. She said she felt the calling and that God would return this to us. Mimi put out an SOS on social media asking for help, and help arrived. Help arrived in many forms. We had friends and neighbors showing up on our property with groceries, with supplies. Mimi started getting direct phone calls from the impacted area about our needs or their needs, about feminine products, about adult diapers, just hygiene products. Anything that a dollar could buy was not available in the area. And Mimi set out to find everything they could possibly need and everything they requested. And she found her donors. Friends, family, co-workers. Had a friend, co-worker that took me to Costco and spent $700 on supplies. Now that the word was out, everyone was getting involved. Our local high school donated their older band trailer so we could load up supplies and take it to Louisiana. The high school even donated pallets of water. Here you see my sister, our neighbors, sons, former teachers, current teachers, and then later on students, all helping to load up any supplies that they had that they could muster to help Louisiana. Not only did these men and women help people they had no idea who they were, but also other schools. We started collecting supplies from middle schools, local feeder schools, elementary schools. It seemed like our entire local public school system was in on a drive to help Louisiana. Every day we would get home and we would add more and more to the trailer, more and more. And then we started to head out. We made 5 total trips from Mobile, Alabama to Houma, Berg, Dulac, and Chauvin, Louisiana to take tons and tons of supplies. We also hit our fair share of hiccups on the way there. We wound up with 2 flat tires before we even got into Louisiana, but I had planned to hit a lot of debris, and so we had plenty of tools with us. We were able to get back on the road and get to a local Goodyear, get 4 new tires, and then enter Louisiana.
And Ida, at this hour, still a dangerous Category 4 hurricane, winds 130 miles per hour. In Houma, Louisiana, this roof ripped off, slamming into utility poles, taking it down. Tonight, nearly 500,000 customers without power in that state. And that number is, of course, expected to grow now.
We entered Houma at night. It was pitch black dark, not a light around. We were able to follow a utility truck in, and when he would switch lanes, we would switch lanes. And this is what it looked like the next day, and I'm glad we had a guide. The next morning, we met up with friends and family and others that needed help in Houma. And then we traveled down to Berg, Louisiana, to the Vision Christian Center Distribution Center. There we met up with their pastor and began offloading part of the trailer. There was a line waiting, and you could tell that this community was definitely grateful and needed any help they could get. Once we were done, we headed back to our friend's house where we stayed the night. Next morning, we went all the way down to Chauvin, Louisiana, and we'll let the videos show what we saw. We still have family in Chauvin. Margaret's sister, as well as nieces, nephews, great nieces, great nephews still live in the area. We were able to get down here and provide some help. The Army National Guard showed up the next day with MREs and water, but the community needed a lot more than that, and thank goodness our friends and family were able to help us provide more.
The last leg of our journey would take us to my childhood church. And I took a moment to check on my father's grave after Hurricane Ida passed through. Growing up, this church was more than just a place of worship. It was a place of community where I learned, grew, and felt connected to something bigger than myself. After the storm, I wasn't sure what to expect, but I was relieved to see that the church still stood strong, even though the damage in the area was significant. Visiting my father's grave was bittersweet. It reminded me of the impact that storms like Ida can have, not just physically, but emotionally. But it also served as a reminder of resilience, of how we can weather the storms together and honor the past while looking forward to the future. On behalf of my family and everyone impacted, I want to express our heartfelt thanks to the incredible community, leadership, students of MGM, and our local schools who came together to collect items for those in need. Your generosity and hard work made a significant difference.